Message for developing and developed countries. For the latter, cooking direct from the sun, without inverter, without battery, just one solar panel, recycled resistance wire and a pot of sand. Today I will show you my new solar sand cooker, designed especially for developing countries. And for the developed countries, today we finally see a working prototype to keep your PV production at home. There are several options to consume more or less power, so that you can adapt it from time to time to your excess production. Welcome to Home Energy Do It Yourself. I'm energy engineer since a lifetime. On this channel we build energy systems that make us more independent of fossil fuels. And yes, for developed, we built last time in video 111 the Sand Energy Center SEC with oven, furnace and water cooker, and also energy storage inside. This time I nearly completed it for people who want to bake and to cook with excess PV energy. It was difficult to keep the heaters going under the sand. They get hotter. In addition, I built an extremely simple solar heat battery and cooker for developing countries. Only two special elements are necessary here, besides the more passive materials like a metal pot, insulation and some connections. And this will give you 20 years of cooking without smoke, without fire and also without searching for firewood or paying it. Imagine what time saver this is for your family. According to the World Bank, families spend in sub-Saharan Africa about 20% of their waking hours on wood collection and cooking. These central active elements, which I mean, are a well-sized PV panel and an electric resistor that you can recycle from some old household device. I show different options to recycle old devices, but you can also buy online cheap resistance wire. I don't have problems to give some energy to the community for free. The state gave us also 50% of our 6 kilowatt PV system, even if the components were a bit overpriced. No, the problem is that the community rejects my energy at certain times. At the right time, I get only a few cents. That is a clear message from the market. And it is a reason that I show you how to keep your energy at home. For developing countries, I saw a completely other driver. Smoke in-house is a known killer for many people. Also, fire hazard is serious. My brother is often in Africa and he told it. Moreover, I hear and read that people have to search every day for free firewood or purchase cooking fuel on the market. That can be about 50% of their income. Well, if you buy this panel of 400 watts, here in Italy it costs 90 euros. And you can have 2 kilowatt hour each day, which is like cooking 1 hour on a pretty powerful electric plate. Moreover, you have it stored in a thermal battery at any temperature you wish, ready for cooking even after sunset. And with the lifetime of the PV panel, that free benefit will last for 2 decades. Imagine your friends amazed by your Sand Energy Center or even your simple sand cooker. If you like the idea, subscribe to the channel and download my free PDF in the description. It is a new version to the previous guide and has the numbers, the safety tips and DIY instructions to build your own simple sand cooker or your full-sized Sand Energy Center. Share this idea, because it can save your family hours of searching wood, or for developed countries, help you keep your energy in your home. And the white plug is the bottom resistance, and that is taking 820 watts. So together more or less 2 kilowatts. But one is bigger than the other, so then you have more liberty to modulate the power. Here, so to say, the choice of 3 powers: 800 watts, 1200 watts, and then the sum is 2 kilowatts. This is to barbecue fish. You open it, put the fish inside, you close it, and it goes on the sand. This to put some food stuff on the sand without making contact direct with the sand, so that you don't have all the sand on your food or so. You can also make a little bit of. You can also make it fit. That is also the advantage of sand, that you can make it fit. It's flexible. And the same with, for example, a single tomato or something other. And this will cover the whole sand battery, and you can maybe use it to flip hamburgers or so. And this was a water cooker, as I could find. It has a lid on it. It's not so necessary, but okay, you can put it inside in the cylinder, and you can take this off or buy another cylinder. It's all flexible because you just make this pit as you want. And so that's also flexible. It's all do it yourself. Now I want to put here the additional heater element, like here in the sand battery. Calculations. Resistances. If you have some voltage and you want to produce certain power, then you can find the resistance with the formula V square divided by the P. For example, 230 volt in the square divided by 1000 watts, 1 kilowatt. And then you get 53 ohms. For a simple cooker, so for a solar panel, then you might have 30 volts in the square divided by 350 watt, which is more or less the power of this solar panel, a little bit less, and you get 2.6 ohm. And that requires to put some resistance in parallel. For example, put 4 heater wires of 10 ohm in the form of a crown, and it is like a road with 4 lanes. And then you get 10 ohm divided by 4, and then that's 2.5 ohm. And that is suitable for your PV panel. In the same way, you can calculate V squared divided by the resistance to find the power which you will have when you connect some device that you found. For example, with the solar panel and the direct connection to the heater, you have 30 volt in the square, and you divide it by 10 ohms of this device which you found in the, no, not in the hairdryer, it's a paint burner. That's like a hairdryer, but you get many hundreds degrees of air. And then you get 900 divided by 10 and you have 90 watts. That means each one will give 90 watts with this PV panel, and you can put 4 in parallel to match its total power of 400 watts. And now we get to insulation. Here we have this formula, which is the main formula to calculate how much layers you have to put around the sand battery, for example, which can go through the wall to the outside. And there's a temperature difference times the surface, the total surface of the device. And then here is the conductivity, and that's a material property. And here you divide this multiplication by the thickness of the insulating material. So a lower lambda, that means less conductivity for heat, will save energy. And also a higher thickness will cut the losses. A big surface, on the other hand, will increase the losses. For all insulation materials, you will find lambda in the specs, or you can find it also on the internet. And now energy, some calculations. In the following, the K stands for Kelvin, and that's just a scientific way to say 1 degree Celsius. And let's see what 700 watt can do. And 700 watt, that is more than in the solar cooker, and it is also less than what I have in this big sand energy center. It's just to have one number. Assume now dry sand with a specific gravity, a specific weight of 1600 kilograms for each cubic meter. And then you have here the specific heat, and that is 0.8 kilojoule for each kilogram of sand and for each degree of Celsius or Kelvin which you raise the temperature. Now let's talk about the sand energy center with 60 liters of sand. Then you are more or less at 100 kilograms of sand, and then the thermal capacity is that for each Kelvin, each degree that you want to rise the temperature, you need 77 kilojoules. And just to remember, 3600 kilojoule is equal to 1 kilowatt hour. How quick will the temperature go up? At 700 watt, that will be nearly 1/100th of a Kelvin per second, or half a degree per minute, and 33 degrees per hour. And that's already not so bad for this big sand energy center, because from 20 degrees to 300 degrees Celsius, and that's a difference of 280 degrees or Kelvin, and then you need 8.5 hours. But maybe from the morning you start at 100 degrees Celsius instead of 20, and losses are not included here. And we will see that is a rather important factor. Okay, now we go to the developing countries and we see this smaller cooker, and let's say that we have 10 liters of sand or 16 kilograms, and then you need 13 kilojoule for each degree of temperature increase. And then the heating with 700 volts, but okay, 700 volts, that's the double from what comes from this panel. It's already 200 Kelvin per hour. So in 1.5 hours, you would have this thing at 300 degrees. Take care. But now that we are in the developing countries, I want also to see how much energy the people need to cook. Studies of the World Bank, the International Energy Agency, and also the United Nations, the FAO, suggest that if firewood is used, a family of 4 people needs about 5 kilograms of wood to prepare their meals. And that's also because the efficiency of this energy in the wood is used for about 15%. So only 1 part of 7 goes into the meal. There are also several other types of fuels for cooking, like charcoal, liquid propane gas, LPG, ethanol gel, expensive, and also electricity. And the cost of this energy, also measured in time. As I said, one World Bank study says that in sub-Saharan countries, families spend about 20% of the hours that they don't sleep on wood collection and cooking. And in the rural areas, for the poor part of the population, they spend much time to collect wood. They don't pay cash for that, but have a big opportunity cost because they cannot study, they cannot work. They lose personal energy to go and look for this wood and also to carry it. And then for the poor fraction in the cities, there's not much fuel there, if not for sale. And then we are usually talking about charcoal or LPG, and that is a cash drain of about 10 to 20% of the household budget if we assume $100 per month. Ethanol is much more expensive. But with, let's say, $15 per month for this fuel, and that's only for cooking, the proposed panel, which I paid here in Europe, 90 euros, let's say $100. You will pay that in 6 months, in half a year. And with a lifetime of 20 years, it means that this lifetime is 40 times this payback time itself. So that means you have really 19.5 years of free energy. The cost of energy in Europe to cook for 4 persons is only about 1% of the income. So I think that we have really found a difference that asks, no, yells for a solution. Tell me in the comments if you see this solution or maybe a form of it as adequate and also practical. If you want to know more about the calculations and other details, download the free PDF in the description. Conclusion and next video. At the end of the day, we see how much difference there is in the situation in developing and developed countries and how also the solution is completely different. I might make 2 different videos for these problems, and I will consider that, also because I have a playlist for developing countries. From the other side, I think that many people in the developed countries might also like the super simple solar cooker and vice versa. These 2 solutions have a lot in common, so let's mix it just for today. Today we saw for the first time this small cooker that needs so little to do a wonderful job. No controller, no battery, no inverter, just a simple connection, a direct connection between the PV panel and the resistive element. What is simpler than that? Considering the calculations above and the cost of cooking in the developing countries, this solution seems to bring huge benefits to maybe 1 billion of people on the earth. Tell me in the comments if you agree. I have limited experience in developing countries, but my brother is there often. In this video we saw also again the Sand Energy Center, and how useful it can be to keep the energy in your home and let it do something useful for you. I agree that using electricity for heating is a thermodynamic waste, but it's worse to send on a grid that doesn't like it and fight with the energy supplier. On my channel you see also a lot of energy efficient ideas. Follow those. The SEC, the Send Energy Center, is anyway a simple solution for the excess energy, and it is also a replacement for the fossil fuel or the fossil electricity that you use to cook. We saw also that how it is possible to do DIY with several old household devices. I even used the base plate of an iron and I brought it to 300 degrees Celsius. I don't know how long it can stand this temperature. It's a very old one without special coatings that can create dangerous fumes. In the next video I'll add more functionality, but I want your feedback. You may want other sizes. Maybe you don't understand the use for the pebbles and would like it just to have all plain sand. You might wish automatic controls or at least temperature measurements at different points in the sand. Or maybe you want that the power consumption of this sand battery follows automatically how much excess solar there is in this moment, so that you can follow that without consuming too less or too much. One thing is that I want in the next video to improve the insulation. I had no time to look to that. In the free PDF you find some details. There's so much to say about insulation. Keep tight, the following is really not trivial and the result of hard thinking. I don't see it in many videos. We will take it as facts for the next video. With high temperatures, it is very hard to keep the temperature, to keep the energy inside. And asking, for example, for a maximum loss of energy of 10% in 24 hours needs 1 meter of insulation material, if you are talking about those materials that are resistant to the high temperatures. The solution is to add layers around this high temperature insulation that is not resistant to the high temperatures but is 3 times as good. You open the sand battery when you use it, so you must also close the lid when you are done with cooking. This lid will be light, but it can be 20 centimeters thick. Doubling the size, the diameter of the sand battery will halve the loss per kilowatt hour stored. And it's also the same reason that elephant has more difficulty in keeping cool than a mouse. But you want to keep it practical and you don't want to fill the house with sand. High temperatures will increase the amount of energy stored in 1 kilogram of sand, but also the heat loss will increase. Heating up to 400 degrees Celsius is possible, but it is difficult and not necessary. It's also dangerous. Fortunately, cooking dinner happens often right after sunset, and also lunch might take some steam off the kettle, so the heat has not much time to escape. It is already nice to have the sand battery at 100 degrees Celsius at the start of the next working day for the sun, and the rate of loss will be only 1/3 of the same battery at 300 degrees Celsius. Insulation is not only for energy efficiency, but is also for your safety. Moreover, it's dangerous to let fall water in the sand if it is at high temperature. It will cook in a fraction of a second and throw hot sand into the air. You don't want to have a volcano in your house. Try it out with a drop of water to understand the huge power which is in there. And the same is true for boiling oil. So be careful when you place a pan of boiling soup or water on the sand surface. Don't spill it. If you want, you can start with drier food. Remember, every kilowatt hour of energy that you keep into your house is one less paid to the energy supplier. And in developing countries, This video taught you how to enjoy 20 years of smokeless cooking with a single panel. Payback is 6 months only. After that you have 19.5 years of free cooking. Download the free guide and let me know in the comments, what would you cook first with the sand and the sun? I wish you good appetite. You will get hungry after a few hours of DIY.